네, 마마도 다 나를 상가 맞춰 가지고 눈 맞춰. 아니 다 라섬 너비 밤제 아니 자제 그와 산드럼 보지. 가서네 안에 벼발아야 나랑 결긴 거네. 아니 준속한 거네. 아니 좀 못지라야. 아니 다시 될래다 두지 시셔이. I would like to come for one of the most scholar in Tibetan. I think if 6 million Tibetan people in he's the most scholar. We are very honored to come here. Thank you so much. Then Rinpoche Shuhadang Anzo Shidang and the Lama Savar Rinpoche Chuzo and the Tujini. And then Dina Langanzo Tan Namju Chig Nachu Kolaya Nachu Ngoto Chia Chigdang and the Chigan and the Chig Trumtada and the Lori Tari Tindekola and the Chik and the Lob Jonda and the Lamram Kola and the Chik Turchin and the Somda and the Shida and the Yoga and the Chio and the Yanchin Zamdam Langanzo Zenjo Shuyanare, Gersoso Inaya. And the Perusoya, that Suda such a day, Pechetango in Anning, Samalayan to J. Usually. And then Tasani Delachi, Marandi Chutu de Gagay Bichane, and the Sane Perugamba Gadi Jidugicenda, and the Dawachina, and the Yarkalaya, Tamachik Tudun Tantos Chio. And that Terini Tsuvi Mahomba, and the Dawarenalaya Perusu, Cheta, and Nimachik, Nachu dwelling Roshi. So tomo mai batang zo pewa su chete ya ani tende shin gon su chete ya gi ani cha chu yo shue yi ani ta mambo su ke shue mi ta tere ngan zo sidang jambo rinpoche ge ya kalom na ya te ngan zo na chu nyam ne chen ta guba kare yo pento kare yo ter tu su kalom na re tere ta ma che tere zo ta inji na la ya kalom na kar na ani lo shamba mambo yi pe de sha ani inji mambo yo re ani sidang pewa su la ya sani kalom ana tu ani Shuma Truba Tele, the Kolaya, Ani Truba de Nachu dan Redo Mato, Ani Chig Chapsi dan the Nicola Totele and Manaro Na Shui, Ani Chig Nachu, Dan Dodan Ha Karikola and Legisola Truba, Pia and Rinpochela, to Sushana and the Truba, Pia to Kokavus and Tuchena.
Most Venerable Gishila and other venerable monks, yogis, and sisters and brothers. My greetings to you all, and I'm happy to be here after a long time. I have been asked to talk about the benefits of practicing the Buddha Dharma. And since most of the audience are non-Tibetans, so I shall have to speak in English. My knowledge of English is very, very poor. For many years I resist to learn English, but finally my resistance have to be given up. And then later on I picked up, but I'm not in a position to express myself fully in this language. However, I will try in my broken English. The topic you have chosen is the benefits of the practice in the Buddha Dharma. To discuss this topic, we shall have to define what we mean. First, benefit, what we mean in, and what we understand about Buddha Dharma. Benefit, practice, and Buddha Dharma, these three things need to be defined if we have common understanding about these three points. We might be able to practice the subject appropriately. Otherwise, if we have a different conception of these things, then we may not be able to establish meaningful dialogue. Benefit is an expression we usually use for as some kind of concept that if I do something, what I shall get in return. In the postmodern civilization, most of things with which we deal are being a matter of economy or financial or trade. Even the morality has been talked about through the expression of value. Value means the price. And in Asian languages, we never use the expression of value for morality, ethics, or conduct. Value is only used for assessing a price of something which can be purchased by giving some money or some written value. So within the different civilization, we have different ways of expressing the things. In the context of practicing Buddha Dharma, then benefits may not exactly in the input and output. If I put some input, if I make some input in the practicing of Dharma, what kind of output I get? That is not the way to look in this matter. And similarly, the expression of practice. Usually the practice means to do something repetitively in order to get a kind of acquaintance or proficiency something doing. That is usually called practice. Practice is usually repeating something, doing again and over again. And I think when we talk about the practicing of Dharma, that does not necessarily mean repeating something. And the Dharma is something entirely different, doing some process of learning in the beginning through hearing or reading to acquire information from hearing from the teacher or from the scripture or reading something, and you acquire an information at the level of just hearing. And we call it in Sanskrit Shrutimay Jnana. Shrutimay Jnana means a knowledge which is acquired from hearing or reading, and this is the first stage of a knowledge. And that knowledge is not self-knowledge, it is borrowed knowledge, according to the Abhidhamma Kosha. And when, after acquiring that knowledge from hearing or from reading, then we need to contemplate, to analyze on that understanding or that knowledge, and through in-depth analyzation of that knowledge, rational mind with logic, reasoning, and also the other ways of analyzing. In the Buddhist canon, we talk about 4 different kind of rationalization, and using all the 4 different kind of rationalization or analytical methods, then you will find proper understanding what you have heard, the acquiring knowledge, hearing, either shit or make it or deny or negate. You will find the knowledge of hearing is accurate or wrong. Through analytical examination and through persistent inquiry and try to find the reality, and when you reach to a authentic understanding, that is an which is achieved through a contemplation or analytical meditation. And that knowledge is one's self-knowledge, one's own knowledge, and also a reliable, authentic knowledge. And after that, then you meditate upon it, either concentrative stability or analytical examination, whatever it may be. Then you achieve the real direct perception of the thing, the subject. And that is the insight which is achieved from the meditative process, meditative practice. And that is the real cognitive or real authentic knowledge and which is not only knowledge, which is in the category of perception, or category of insight, that we call in the Sanskrit Bhavanamay Pragyan. The Shrutimay Gyan and the Chintamay Gyan, the knowledge from the hearing, the knowledge from the analytical meditation, are a process to reach to the knowledge of perception. It may be not good to say knowledge, perception or the insight. Making this particular process can be called as a practice. Practice is mostly in the form of analytical meditation or concentrative meditation. So these two processes need to be the first step, study and hearing or reading. That is preliminary. And I think that can also be considered as a kind of practice. Apart from that, if you have nothing to analyze mentally, searching something, questioning something with of realization, you might be doing something repetitive. For example, repetition of a mantra, or repetition of prostration, repetition of offering, and doing this physical or vocal activity without any mental process of learning, then I don't think that doing can be considered as a practice of Dharma. You are doing something, but it is not accompanied with a positive intention or motivation, and also accompanied by some kind of mental meditative way. Only doing some physical or vocal things cannot be considered as within the category of practice. Regarding the Buddha Dharma, Dharma is by Buddha himself and the commentators considered there are two basic components. The first is Agama and the second is Adhigama. Agama means the literature of the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's doctrine, which is in the form of literature or form of vocal explanation. That also have a component of Buddha's own words, which is termed as sutra, and then the Buddha's followers, the practitioners or the scholars, comment on Buddha's teaching that constitutes as a shastra, the commentary literature. The corpus of Buddha's own words and the commentary literature is a part of Dharma, which is called the vocal or the literary Dharma. And Adhigam means through studying, analyzing, or researching, acquiring, by learning the corpus of literature, you will cultivate certain inner mindset, and that inner mindset is called the experiential Dharma. That is Adhigam Dharma. Adhigam means experiential. which has you have already internalized the understanding. So Dharma is only this nature. The analyzation or the process of having the mindset of the internalization of Dharma can be classified into three categories. The first is the morality or the ethical conduct, which is called in the Sanskrit Shila, and then meditation, there's samadhi, and the third is the insight, the prajna. And the entire Buddha Dhamma is included in these three categories. All the three categories basically of a of mind, a mindset. And for that purpose, the agama, the literary corpus, is also classified into three pitakas. Three pitaka means three volumes or three corpus of literature. This is the Vinaya Pitak, which is dealing with the Shila, the moral conduct, and Sutta Pitak, which is talking about the meditative process. And the third is Abhidhamma Pitak, that is dealing with the insight or the prajna. So by this way, it is very easy to sum up what is Buddha Dharma. And apart from Buddha Dharma, we may call Buddhist education or Buddhist literature or Buddhist knowledge, in which, as per His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama used to say, in which includes the Buddhist science, the Buddhist philosophy, and the Buddhist Dharma. Dharma, as I mentioned, the three: Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. The meditation, and the insight. That is in the category of Dharma. To reach into that stage of mind, you need to study the ground reality. And dealing with the ground reality, the phenomenon, how the phenomena exist, and how phenomena exist, that is about the Buddhist science. And Buddhist science is not much different from the modern so-called scientific knowledge or modern science. There are many things can be compatible with each other, and they can be supplement with each other. The Buddhist science is not a kind of against the modern science, because it do not negate the modern science findings, or neither the modern science findings can negate or can contradict with rationally the Buddhist science concept of the phenomenon, the phenomenal reality. The Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy, the philosophy deals the view, how people can have a view or right view on the phenomenal reality or the ground facts. And then the science and philosophy almost goes together and supplementing with each other. And that is common to everyone. it is not only for the Buddhist people, it can be used, it can be taken as a subject of study in the science and philosophy. The Dharma is dealing with the shaping of the mind. Dharma always the real, the expression of Dharma, the many of the word is dharant, means to hold up, holding up something which otherwise might be falling down, and something is not letting falling down and holding up and leading to higher and higher, purer and purer. That means holding up the mindset of human consciousness, a consciousness of the practitioner, not only human, and not letting it falling down into the defilements or negative emotions, and taking them higher to higher, more positive and pure. So that is Dharma, and that is only for the practitioners. So having said this basic background about the benefit or practicing or Dharma, very roughly I try to put before you. Now coming back, the real subject is to discuss about the benefits. To begin, practice of Buddha Dharma, one shall have to practice of Buddha Dharma. One shall have to enter into the dharmic mindset, or you have to be a follower of Buddha. That means a person shall have to be qualified, to whom it may be accurate to say he or she is a Buddhist. And how that category or that qualification can achieved, that can achieve when you take a proper refugee into the Dharma. Also Buddha and Sangha. Taking refugee into the Triple Gem is the door of entering into a Buddhisthood, I may say so, or to become a Buddhist. That is the first step. And how you can achieve a mindset of taking refugee, you must have a gross understanding, a gross level understanding of what is Buddha, what is Dharma, and what is Sangha. You might very detailed perception of all these things because it is very vast subject. But in order to have a refugee-taking mind, you must have a rough understanding of these three refugee. And at the same time, a real intention or motivation, refugee. Only after taking refugee, then you can be considered as a practitioner. After that, whatever you do with a mindset of taking refugee, then what you do, a mental process of learning or cultivating, then that can be termed as practicing of Buddha Dharma. Otherwise, you might practice in concentrative meditation, and all the concentrative meditation does not necessarily belong into a Buddha Dharma. A non-believer, having no religion, can also practice vipassana or shamat. There are many Trithikas. They achieve all the 8 different levels of the meditative samadhi, meditative concentrative stability. And similarly, you might have a practice of certain moral discipline that also common to every religion. Unless and until you have a mindset of taking refugee, your practice is not belonging to practice of Buddha Dharma. Because without having any understanding of Dharma and without having a real sense, taking Dharma as the only path through which you can achieve certain objective or certain goal, and you have an intention or intention to achieve that goal, you are not a Dhamma practitioner. So to become a Dhamma practitioner, you shall have to be, first, Buddha Dhamma practitioner, you shall have to be a Buddhist. And for that matter, you shall have to be, cultivate a mindset of taking refugee. In order to taking refugee, you must have a certain fear or certain sense of challenge, and with that you shall have to be inclined to overcome the challenge or the danger or the fear by attending Dharma in your own mind. So that is what we talk about the refugee. And for that matter, either you are concerned about your next life, the rebirth, or you are concerned about the bondage of selfic existence, the bondage of karma and klesha, the force of action, and the development of mind or the negative emotions. You are not the bondage in this selfic of the worldly samsara, and you wish to get freedom from this bondage, or the ultimate is you wish to achieve the Buddha nature and having compassionate mind for entire sentient being, and in order to serve the entire sentient being, I must achieve the Buddha nature. So these 3 kind of mindset is the lowest person or the person or the great person in Buddhism, all the Dhamma practitioners are categorized in the three different kind of person. The first person is just for the next life. The second person is not happy with the entire bondage in the samsara and looking for freedom from this bondage. And the greater person is not only looking for one's own eradication of the misery and the source of misery, but wanted to serve the entire sentient being. And for that, as a means of serving the sentient being, the Buddha nature is to be achieved and inspiring for achievement of Buddha nature. So these three different mindset makes the practitioner in the three different categories. And if you are not having any one of these three categories, then you might repeat the taking refuge, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharma Sharanam Gacchami, 1,000 times, 100,000 times, does not mean you are taking the refuge. Taking refuge means the cultivation of mind into understanding of the refugee, three refugee, and how you take refugee in that manner. To become a Buddhist Dharma practitioner, one must have a basic understanding of the continuity of the subtlest consciousness of all the individuals. I mean, the reality of no beginning, no end of an individual's subtlest consciousness. So that proves that everybody takes rebirth after the death. And also, whosoever is there, it has countless birth have taken in the past lives, and there will be countless rebirth in the future life. And without understanding this basic phenomenon, you are having no idea about the continuity of the subtlest consciousness, and there's certainty of rebirth after death is not conceived or not understood, then the whole process of journeying would be blocked. Because even the lowest person who are taking refuge must have the understanding of next life and inspiring the next life, not going to the lower realms and to reborn in the higher realms. And therefore, philosophically, one shall have to understand the position of the subtle consciousness which comes from beginningless life and which goes to endless life, unless and until you eradicate the negative emotions, and the source of negative emotions, that is ignorance, the avidya, there will be no end. Even you achieve the freedom from all bondage, but your consciousness will continue either in the arahanthood or in the Buddhahood. So that reality need to be understood. So now I am coming to the last part of last part of the subject, what are the benefits? As I mentioned before, if you are not cultivated your mind into the Buddhist food, and you are just thinking that I am meditating something, that will not have any benefit. In other words, I would say, you might have some apparent benefit for this life. For example, someone is a concentrative meditation practiced, and one thinks that I am practicing Buddhism, although the person does not have a refugee-taking mindset and still doing some kind of concentration on breathing or concentration on some object. And you might achieve some peace of mind, or you might be get rid of stress. The benefit is just that, and that is not a real benefit. It is just like taking some medical treatment, or you are so stressful, you just take a sleeping pill and go to deep sleep for number of hours and feel much refreshed. And your meditations are also like that. Without aiming for some object of more than this life, you are not doing any dharma practice. So therefore, the benefit will be not in the category of a dharma practitioner. It is just like doing some physical exercise that will give certain result for your fitness, or taking some delicious food that might be giving you satisfaction and nourish your body. So if these things are taken as a benefit, then it's okay. For the Dhamma practitioner, is for the achievement of rebirth in the good realm, and not to reborn in the lower realms. For that purpose you are practicing, then you will have the lowest benefit. That means you will benefit of achieving the next rebirth in a good realm. Might be reborn in a humane, or must reborn in the Deva or some in a good realm, and you might be able to enter into Dharma, or even not enter into Dharma, you might be enjoyable for a lifetime. And if you are practicing for the eradication of the source of all misery, all the three different kinds of misery, and to get freedom from cycle of birth and rebirth, and get an arahanthood, or the salvation is aimed, then of course with that motivation, whatever your practice, it will go as a cause of achieving the freedom, the nirvana. And that is a real objective of teaching. And you are in the category of medium individual person, and practice will have the benefit of getting nearer and nearer to the salvation from the bondage of karma and kleshas, mental developments, and the force of action coming out of mental developments. And your intention was to achieve the Buddhahood. In the Buddhist perception, Buddhahood is not the ultimate objective of a person. That is not the end of a person. To achieve Buddha nature means to empower that person to serve the entire sentient being effortlessly. So the ultimate object is serving the entire, benefiting the entire sentient being. And for that purpose, as means someone is inspiring, someone is looking for achievement of Buddhahood. And with that intention, whatever you practice will become as action of Bodhisattva Charya. And that has an immense benefit, not only for oneself, it benefits to entire sentient being, and it accumulates cause and conditions for achieving Buddhahood. So that is the benefit. So, what I have talking until now, if I sum up, the first, to become a Dharma practitioner, you have to be enter into the Dharma. And to enter into the Buddha Dharma, you have to take in refugee into the Dharma. Dharma is the only real refugee. And the Buddha is taken as refugee because he shows you what is the refugee. And the Sangha is taken into refugee because it will help you to achieve the real refugee, the Dharma, the real refugee. Any person suffering from a serious disease, in order to get of that disease, that patient needs a good doctor and good medicine and good nurse to. The antidote to the disease is the medicine, and that medicine shall have to be taken by the patient. How much good the doctor be, the doctor cannot take away your disease. The doctor is only diagnosing the disease and prescribe what is the best medicine for that. Buddha is like. And the antidote to the disease is the medicine, and that need to be by the patient regularly. Dhamma can save you if you practice the Dharma in a perfect way. Sangha is like helping you, like a nurse, to give you assistance and to give you timely medicine. So, among the three refugees, the real refugee is the only Dharma. And by this understanding, to the Buddha Dharma, and then you practice, the benefits will always determined by your motivation and your intent mindset. Your intention mindset, your motivation mindset is the lowest. The benefit will also be according to that. And it is for the solve. The benefit will also be for that category. And you are looking for the highest level of achieving Buddha nature. Then similarly, the benefit will be in that category, and it will really make it possible for the individual to reach to the Buddha nature and become a Buddha. I think I will stop talking here, and I invite your comments, questions or any feedback what I have mentioned now.
Please, you make sure your question short, at least 2 minutes, not talk too long, okay? Then, thank you so much. Also, only the Dharma, not in any politics, things. Thank you.
Rinpoche, yes, I just want to make sure that I understood right. Rinpoche, did you mention that the real purpose is to achieve, to serve all sentient being, and that is even not it's not the Buddhahood. Is to serve all sentient being is the real goal. Yeah, is this the understanding?
Yes. Yes. I do not remember English version or the Sanskrit version. In Tibetan, in a short verse in the Abhisama Alankar says, Sim che pa ne shen dun chir, yangba zobe chan chutu. To inspire for the Buddha nature is for the purpose of serve the others. आप तो तिब्बती जानते हैं.
Rinpoche, in the very beginning, Rinpoche mentioned that Dharma shouldn't be thought of in terms of, or benefit shouldn't be thought of in terms of input and output.
Yes.
But then in a way, isn't the process of the karmic law of cause and result, cause and effect, or even as Rinpoche further spoke, that if we practice this, then the result is that. In some ways, isn't that similar to an input and output? Could you please clarify?
You are very much true. Cause and effect relation is a law of nature. Everything you accumulate a cause, it will definitely give a result. But what I was talking, input and output, means if you measure the benefit of Dharma in immediate result within this life alone, and that is not the purpose of Dharma, and for that doing anything is not a Dharma practice. I was trying to say that. And if you are meditating in the Buddhist way of concentrative stabilization of mind, and your purpose is only to relieve from the stress, then you might get release from the stress. That is not a benefit of the Dharma practice. You are not practicing the Dharma because your intention was not creating Dharmic practice. So practice can be anything, and that result cannot be, that output cannot be considered as a result of Dharma practice. It is practice of anything. Is clear? Yes. Yes. Yeah. You need this.
You said if you're living your life for the next life with morality, your next life will be a good rebirth. I was always under the impression that your next rebirth is kind of like a lottery. No matter what you do, you don't know what's going to happen your next rebirth.
Sorry, I couldn't get your question.
Okay, you said that your next, if you're living your life for your next life, in the Dharma practice, if you're living your life for the next life by following morality and practicing Dharma, that you'll have a good rebirth your next life. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
I was under the impression that your next rebirth is like a lottery. No matter what you do, you don't know that it's going to be a good rebirth, that there's no guarantee. So if I, at age 55, start living my life for the next life, I have a good chance of a good rebirth, even, following morality and stuff. That's what I'm asking.
I think you do very perfect practice into the Dharma, particularly in the keeping precepts of the morality with a wholehearted intention and good practice, and which is consolidated by dedication at the end. It is very much possible to ensure, to guarantee you will have a good rebirth. Of course, any individual do have a numerous karmic force for both reborn in the bad realm and reborn in the good realm. You have positive karmic force, you have negative karmic force. But how to make sure that your next birth be from a result of positive karmic force? For that very purpose, there are a number of ways to practicing during this life. Make effort to reduce the negative karma through various methods, and also practice the mind to stimulate the positive karmic at the time of transition. Transition means the time of death and taking the process of rebirth. At that time, how to making sure you are not stimulating the negative karmic force which you have in your mindset, but you stimulate the positive karmic force. Then that also can be strengthened through your regular prayer, and it can further strengthened by the blessings and prayers of other holy person or one's own teacher or something like that. So by making all this holistic approach, there is a way to make an ensure or to make guarantee that next life will be a good one. Tongni niji gonda te tanda tuzu tongzong chik nan Lel Having a share to grace something Mindu. Money Pavacheri Siki Songare Pavacheri Siki Tanking he would temper Songare. The Inza Songadi Kunun number Tavachiton and Dambayina Chidan Cheresi Lualamji Nekablia Sensam Zimbatang Kadun de Cheva Sola and Janji St. Julia Taganashin Tibachimbi Lamla Bemed Juba Tindeki Pavacheri Sang Molam with top Yuba in Tisuma Dambayina and Lapchingi Pen Tobia Yubati Jeres Rangi Tuji the Molam with Tulichuan Chimbere Chidan Sanje Jasang Tandia Kashetza Chua the Kashetza Chua didn't get your mother. In a letter Molam Gintiwasiati then Sanje Jansen to Lubalam Ginecabia, Tomato Chiducabla, and Molam Gichever Gwanki, and Dujatsu de Dumbayina, the Minsegi, Payun Nura Yuyata, Payun Chiva Yuya, the Chever Tenten. And Howard to another Pukan Chamber City, Papa Cheresig Dushin to Sonway, Chinduchi Soinza, Cheresig Songa Dambina, and Tibejangi, Payun Chimbo, the Leta Malang Diwan. That teach down in the Jishubi Jelia Yinaya Cheresig Songa Dambe Kavla Kunum Kandishime tea. Tachu Remato, Cheresi Chanchu Simba Shragi, Tuja Manam Jachimbu Yimbata, Tujimbu Yimba, Tiwangi, and Songa Dangan Samalogi, Songa Dambe Painti, Chiva Chandria, but in the Mavre. Tadang and Kondushin Simba Nanshin. Chiwa Chima tuning Luchi Tone, Yidu Dambayina, Chiwachum Lamgi, Pain Tagure, Tabatuni, Ninjung Samba number Tabatone, Tabatuni Yidu Dambayina, and Yidu Dambi Pain de Tabe Jundra Chagre. Janju will sing this in Betone in Yidu Dambayina, Yidu Dambi Pain Sanjay Quanto Jundra, the Chiwa and the Chimbati, Rankunun Ralebre. The Kuno number Tabachi Yubina, Penachanchu was in Chumatsinji, Simbachi Yubina, Jeresigi Tuji the Manamgawanki, Hashambe Suma Dambale, Jeresigi Yidu Dambina, and the Pain Chiva Yunata, Sonam is tall, Lobuchi Toyagi Cheber, Titende, you are a Samdo. Niji the Manamgawanki. The Soma Korangi 20, Hang 20 Jachimure. Tinga to tap the Wuchene, share to your coverage. Yinaya, that Dorduja Shabina Mani Seaki Keduti, Norula Jure. Pema Sea Keduti, Pema Tip, Jaget the Pugani Jalo, Meto Peman Jugore. Niki Karitsungu Yoris Chena. Shirabki Chadi Chunguyore. Peme Karitung Tabji Chadi Chungore. That Tabdan Shirabki most name and do Cheber Rabuti Parichimbe Tibe Karisha, Tabshig Namshata, Nga Karishebe, Tabshig Namsha, Nuti, the Menda Chimbuyore. In a Jeresig Songhanti, Songhang or Jebinza, Hagnam Togomato, Dunalolia, and Songagnam Shati, your mother. The Chida Jeresigi Namjur Mendawa, Naso Yubenane, Jushige Nalalia, Jeresig Dutaviore, Laming Juk Mord Chen Jeresi Dubiata. Jaju da Juju, Nanjur Julus, what is Samenal, 제르시 하소 그루다 요아레 이네 단다 용스트라바 아주 별은 줄에 상하지나는 용스트라바르부터 제레시디 자주 공수 도바치레 제자 디시송제네 슈비나 시럽디 동이도 시럽 이마시샤제 더 탑지 차들이야 하이 nenjur pena paru chimbe tibe kabla tabi chas tu kabla sunamji so sayagi jimbe paru ne samdenji paru chimbe nyamlengi parki parchinga gi nyamlen cheti tabi chal zigirba ta tandan de parchinga gi nyamlen te zuya chaju ru shebina tabi cha redina tabi cha zote 하이 nenjur chukone sabse nimen ki nenjur komyate toni la tsijido nyambar shashimbe ngoyne ane hai chingor chik kolo gomyatang lu ki tsanen khalya ta tsanen khasime lu chi ne sosulu ya hankor kune ane dotsimbe jan chiyata trudu cheyata yusir trudu chene chike debulam jegi nyamnin cheya ante che tabu chatri cheza tabu chata kanda mani shibe shirab chata peman shibe tabu chani buti nyamdol dongyondu kabla tabshi sondilgi nyamnin nedo membachi cheba yina an sanje chukwa nyur tabu reis ta chaju gi nalole tsichi la sanje tobe namshati yore luji la sanje tobe namshati yomare tsichi la sanje tobe namshati chime tsi rinzin druje tsi jun rinpo pa dene en chaju gi hai nenjuru dene sanje kuwa duya te yore jezan tinde gi tabshi sondun jube nyamlin dene ane 제레시 고wan 스네민도 산제지 고wan 톱 배체도 미네 땅아디 가리 맞수 섬드나를 가리 탱글 땅기 와르잖아 탑지 차다 시럽지 차니 이르마 집에지는 송둔 주네 제주 걸리 이왕 개시기를 봐 제가 이왕근 하게 되나신 송준의 침배이나 산지 고wan 도구에서 땅 하게 된 라바섬시엔 들려지래 옴시아디 하탐제지 군린드레 하탐제 근골 옴 용구야데 가르레스잖아 송이네라도 하이네라도 디 고송 이르만 집에 두제당 고송 이르만 집에 총아 고송 이르만 집에 nenjur 디 송자로디 천국요래 nga ngondor chebal 제가 아오마 숨좀베 이게 디 옴차기 유자 디 추글롱구 추구송부대 천국요래 르당아다 이송부대 천국요래 제상 실험제 송부대 천국요래 단데 쪼러부디 추글롱구 추구송부대 가르레치잖아 산제지 고방 셴든두베 양라도 두구야리야 더 산제기 셴든 베멘 흔둘 존투야디 코송나 템버레 추구 텔레탐제지 존넨체 롱구 두잘레다 옌체레야 잔슨파바 옌체기 된제야체 추구 누가 용스톱에 레타다마다 누가 용스톱을 된제 도세 리컬리아 틀레진 종콩 추지고 틀레지 줄람 롱고단 주고 도세네 고송이르메 두밤 고송이메 네 총아 되니자 같은달이야 옴된 용거래 다 나긴 줄라 홈 용야디 레저스케 근로탄을 비체비나 나 그리체티 Thad Domyati, Yamena, Home Dungre, Yamena Patki Dungre, Home the Pat Nijalo, Home Shivati, Dube Kechare, and Pat Shivati, Yivetunjare. Jeza Home the Om the Chibare, how O Mansum Duvale Chuanchre. Tinza, and Jurmun Josun Sun and Degree, Kunon the Jurata, Mole hanging you do the home city, come delia, Shivan Hines on home city. That didn't any teacher do a year two chasson. The Chita Jeresig Sumale, Suma Yigi to was at the Yundare. Yinaya, Rigda, Meta, Nyamdol Dene, Jeresitan, Yuba Menija, Nyamdol de Penyamdol Tobiata, Rigda Dillin, Love Cablia, Yigi to Jelia, Yuba Mengi, Seven Shitty Journey, Money Payment, those Dumbelu Switch Yore. Yinaya, the Nimbala Soba Cabdan, the Cablia, Shitty in Jimmy Jaguaji, Yomare. In a Rigdata, Cheresi Dadu Chene, Nyamdol Dube Cablia, Oman Peme Home Shis and Lavineti, Madava the Chagiamare. In a money you do see at another Shitiamare. Tangagutun, Dodusam Shavina, to three. Tony Mondantra Sina, Natilla to
Rinpoche, thank you so much for coming. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have your teachings.
Thank you.
Would you be willing to say a word about the overlap, the relationship between Buddha Dharma and that of other genuine paths of other enlightened beings that have walked the earth? I mean, it seems that Buddha probably could have walked the path of Srividya, or Christ could have taught Buddha Dharma, right? Is it, so when you speak of taking refuge in the Buddha Dharma, do you really, so far as to say any genuine path? Okay.
You can repeat what is your question, the last.
Yes, the relationship or the comparison or the overlap between the Buddha Dharma and that of other genuine paths.
Dharma,
Yes.
Religions.
Yes.
Okay. On this planet Earth, there are numerous traditions of Dharma or traditions of religion. I think the word Dhamma can be used for religion as well, although the worldly meaning of the connotation of Dharma and the connotation of religion, they are differently defined. But what essentially the religious traditions are for the salvation or elevation of sentient beings or the living individuals. One religious tradition is not enough for every individual. The sentient beings are all individual. Individual means unique. They have different uniqueness of their mental attitude, disposition, capacity, liking, disliking, and the background. All are different. each one of individual person has which is uncomparable with any other individual. Evidence, for example, the humanity. 7 billion human beings are living on this planet Earth, and the 7 billion is a huge number. If you try to find out among the 7 billion individuals, are there any 2% who are completely 100% identical? Even the twins of one mother, they appear to be very similar, but when you go to the near, you can identify this is A, this is B. What it shows? It shows that each individual mindset is also different. So that proves that one tradition of religion is not enough to all the sentient beings. For different mental attitude and approach, there are need of different religious traditions. That's why even the one religious tradition, for example, the Buddhism, Buddha, a single teacher, have taught so many different ways of his dharma. They are Sharavakyan, they are Pratik Buddhyan, they are Bodhisattvayan. From the view of the vehicle, they are Yans, all of them taught by Buddha himself. And from the philosophical viewpoint, they are Sudantics and they are Vivashiks and they are Chittamatrata or the Vijnanabad and they are Madhyamik. 4 great different philosophical traditions, and among the 4 there are so many subsets, sub-traditions. And in the Tantra there are 4 different Tantras, and within them so many different. That's how to serve the entire humanity there's need of many different spiritual traditions. Having said that, all these spiritual traditions are equally sacred, equally. There's no superior, there's no inferior. Every religion shall have to be respected, completely equal. For that, Gandhi has coined a very beautiful word, Sarvadhamma Sambhava. Bhava means equal feeling. Whichever religion, you must respect it completely equal. But for you, for one individual, shall have to be carefully choose what is the most suitable for yourself. That does not mean the other religions are inferior. All the religious traditions are equally sacred, but for one individual, then one tradition is suitable and the other tradition is not suitable. As I mentioned in the Buddhist also, there are 3 different individuals. So 3 different individuals shall have to choose their path according to suitable to them. And a Buddhist individual either choose the Sharavakyan or Bodhisattvayan. That is not a luxury to choose, but one's own mental capacity that need to choose which is suitable. A shoe have to be choose according to your feet, and any shoe cannot be serve your purpose. It it may harm it may make pain or injure if it's not suitable to your feet. So that's obvious. Now, we have to understand the huge differences between the religions. Basically, all religious traditions can be divided into two categories. Believing in the Creator and not believing in the Creator, Ishwarvadin and Unishwarvadin. In our Indian language, Astik. And similarly, it can be divided into different categories, Atmavadin and Niratmavadin, who believes in the soul and who do not believe in the soul. So these concepts are completely contradictory, opposite with each other. But this contradiction does not mean one religion is more superior than the other religion. And all the religions are for the salvation of an individual. That is all equal. We have to understand that. We have to accept the differences, and we cannot make any compromise between the different perceptions or different conceptions or different philosophies. That will be there. But the purpose is to choose one's own most suitable tradition and to practice that sincerely. In other words, my late friend Ramon Panikkar used to say a very peculiar expression: religiousness, religiosity, and religionism. Each religion have all these three components. And in the religiousness, there's no difference. All religions are equally sacred and equally holy. When it comes to the religiosity, and it is a human matter, and it is social mixed up, and there are vast differences. And the religionism is irreligion. It becomes a dogmatic and it becomes fundamentalism. So that need to be avoided. So by this way, if I understood your question properly, each religious tradition is capable of leading its followers to the ultimate level. That we have to be accepted. And the ultimate level is one or many that is beyond our comprehension. When we reach there, you will understand, and there is debate at this moment whether the ultimate goal is same or their difference, because that is not within understandable of our capacity, our thought, and therefore we cannot, whatever we make an expression, that would be within the limitation. So we leave it aside. And the path leading to the ultimate goal are different. The difference is to be accepted. To find some similarities. There are many similarities. For example, love, kindness, tolerance. All these values are being taught by almost every religion. But when we go into the details of these definitions, there may be some difference. So there are similarities or there are unsimilarities that we have to leave it as it is, not trying to make them compatible with each other or to encourage. So that is why I always say the method of comparative study of religions, which are now promoted by many academic institutions, universities, that is absolutely incorrect. Religious subject is not like a social sciences. They cannot be a comparative study because you have a capacity to understand all the religion. You may be a good practitioner of one religion and you might have a internalization of one religion, but that does not mean you can internalize the whole religious traditions. And a comparative study means trying to find some similar, dissimilar, and superior and inferior. Whenever we compare, then our mindset goes to find out some better quality or less quality. So all religions are equal and they have to be practiced according to their own teaching, not to mix up. And all of them are beneficial to its own followers, suitable followers, that shall have to be chosen by individuals themselves. Okay. Sorry.
Rinpoche, your earlier answer to Sharon's question, you said that you mentioned the word perfect practice,
Right.
and good practice.
Mm-hmm.
So could you first please summarize us in an easy to understand way what constitutes a perfect or a good practice? And then also during these degenerate times when our minds are so distracted all the time, where it's so difficult to be able to control our minds, perhaps to bring to that level of perfect practice or good practice, please give us some advice on how to go about developing such a good or perfect practice.
Good practice means you do the process of practice, the beginning and the basic practice and the end of practice, all these three in a good order, not leaving anything missing. Before entering into the practice or beginning the practice, the first thing is to examine your motivation. Your motivation makes the whole practice good, bad, or nothing. As I mentioned before, whatever your motivation is there, that determines the quality of your practice. Motivation is of an ordinary individual, chibu chungo, that means your motivation is only for the next life. And that will determine the quality of your practice. And then during the practice, you have to be mindful and giving full attention to the practice, whatever you do, meditation, recitation, prayer, whatever it may be, it should do properly. And thereafter, whatever positive karmic force, good karma, you earn good merits you earn from that practice shall have to be immediately dedicated. If your motivation was for next rebirth, you should dedicate it, all these merits which I earn by this practice is dedicated for the good rebirth. Or it is for salvation, you dedicate it for that. It's for Buddhahood, you should dedicate for that. Without dedication, your merits earned by that practice might be destroyed by your anger or by your other negative emotions. Once you have dedication properly, then it will not be destroyed by other negative emotions later on. So this beginning, motivation, and doing the practice properly, in the middle and after dedicate it properly, then it makes a good practice and a complete practice. If you miss any one of the three, then your practice become incomplete one. And then how much your attention and how much your mood is strong, less strong, and ordinary, that will determine how your practice become good and ordinary. A perfect practice is difficult. For that, number one, you need the intention or the motivation in original one, and that we do not have now. We do not have a perfect renunciative mind, nginjung, and we don't have even the intention for the next rebirth. It's all just artificial or just beginner. We don't have a real sense of longing for next rebirth, because our desire for this birth is so strong, which makes then we don't have similarly the real Buddha Chit in our mind. So therefore, a perfect practice, the first we shall have to achieve either the real desire for inspiring for the next rebirth, or the salvation from the samsara, or the Buddha nature, one of the mind, renunciative mind or bodhicitta we have to cultivate in our mind. And thereafter, to make the practice perfect, we need at least the lowest state of stability of mind, shine, the shamatha. Even you don't have the real shamatha, the ninth stage of stable mind, sine gopa. Without that, all your meditation would be always disturbed by distraction or sinkiness. So therefore, to make your meditation perfect or your practice perfect, you need a stability mind. And this too is difficult to achieve by an ordinary people. So we have to practice, and to make our practice higher and more perfect way, we must try to achieve cultivation of renunciative mind and cultivation of concentrative. How much level you achieve the concentrative stability and renunciative mind or the Buddha Chit, that much your practice become more perfect way.
Rinpoche, thank you so much for coming back to Kurukulla Center. I believe that last time was maybe around 5 years ago, Geshe Sugala.
Yes.
And now so fortunate that we can see Geshe Tenli continuing to guide us, so precious. Thank you so much for your talk to us today, for having such amazing English to help those few of us non-Tibetans here. Thank you so much. Very, very, very helpful. And thank you everyone for coming. Just so special center to have the visits from people like Rinpoche with our Tibetan brothers and sisters, everybody coming together. This is what makes Kurukulla Center so special. So thank you everyone for your participation for Rinpoche. Thank you.